Hi, it's Mimi at Giggly Guppy. Today we're going to continue reading this book, Unlikely Friendships by Jennifer S. Holland. I'm going to be reading three more stories today. Two of them include owls, so they're good stories. I hope you enjoy them. The first one does not include an owl. It's the only one today, and it's called The Nearsighted Deer and the Poodle. And this took place in Ohio in the United States in 2009. The nearsighted deer and the poodle. Meet Dilly, the coffee drinking, bed hogging, dog loving house deer that has become an oversized member of veterinarian Melanie Butera's menagerie in suburban Ohio. When the farm-bred white-tailed deer came to the Elmridge Animal Hospital in Canal Fulton, Ohio, she was a very sick little animal, unable to eat or stand up on her bony legs. She was also virtually blind from a birth defect. Melanie ultimately decided to care for the deer at home, a household already heavily populated with a husband, two children, Poodle Lady, cats Spaz and Neffy, and birds screaming, not to mention a barnyard's worth of animals outside. That's a real animal lover. With the exception of Screamy, who got a poor introduction to Dilly when the deer grabbed her by the tail feathers and tossed her, everyone in the house has grown to love Dilly. The cats approve of her warmth when they curl up next to her and are happy to let the deer groom them from head to tail. But Lady is Dilly's best friend, says Melanie. Lady was a great comfort to Dilly those first weeks, letting the scared little deer lie next to her on the couch or bed as she licked her down. Now Dilly licks the poodle on the back or head and sometimes nibbles her ears. At the nipping, Lady might snarl a little and play bite her, but the response does no harm. As a game, Lady likes to steal stuffed animals from Dilly and proudly carry them around, finally leaving them on the deer's path so she'll stumble across them later. There's also a bit of dog-deer mischief to report. Despite Dilly's impaired vision, at Lady's bidding, she'll grab bags of snacks from high shelves for the two to gobble down. Lady will try to steal food from Dilly, who boasts a surprisingly sophisticated palate that includes an appreciation for spaghetti, ice cream, coffee with a lot of milk, and as a special treat, roses, which she crunches through like candy. And of course, as deer are wont to do, she happily destroys every plant in the Butera's yard as Lady lazes about nearby. Yeah, that's true. Deers definitely do like to eat plants. For a time, both Dilly and Lady tried to share their owner's bed at night. I'm a night owl, says Melanie, and would come to bed after everyone else was already positioned and sometimes couldn't even find a spot. She also suffered the deer's hooves digging into her back. Luckily, the animals resolved the issue on their own. Feeling the squeeze, Lady found a spot on an extra bed in the room, and Dilly took over a guest room elsewhere in the house. Now, Lady often joins the deer in her room for a nap, even when all beds are open. Interestingly, Dilly is afraid of other dogs, even tiny puppies. She'll fluff up her tail and stomp her feet if any canine but Lady gets too close. But Melanie says that's never been the case with Lady. Dilly grew up with Lady and sees her as family. Now, this picture is especially adorable because it looks like Lady is howling and Dilly is just kind of saying, That's my buddy right there. I love that picture. And the visualization of all the animals in the bed is adorable. Absolutely adorable. So I am skipping 2 stories because they aren't happy, and I only like to read happy stories. So the next story, and the last 2, like I said, include owls. This took place in England in 2009, and this is called The Owl and the Spaniel. That spaniel is so sweet. The way its tongue is out and it's holding its head, like it's looking at the owl so lovingly. All right, here we go. At a bird of prey conservation center in Liskeard, Cornwall, a spaniel named Sophie has a taste for owls. Fortunately, she licks, not bites, and the meeting of mouths is mutual. English spaniels are natural hunters, and fleshing out and retrieving birds is their specialty. But in this case, Sophie the dog seems to have replaced those hunting instincts with something a bit more genial. Normally, Sharon Binden, the conservationist who runs the center, doesn't bring birds into her house. In fact, Sophie hadn't gotten to meet one close up until the day Bramble arrived. But the owlet showed up at just 2 weeks of age, still featherless and too young to be placed in the aviary. So Sharon made an exception and carried the naked little creature inside. On that very first day, Sophie, then 3, jumped up on the sofa to investigate the new arrival on my lap, says Sharon. As her way of affection, she started licking Bramble's beak. From that day on, it became a daily ritual. Bramble was given a cozy crate in the sitting room of the house, but whenever Sophie was close by, the bird would flap and dance around until she was let out to join the dog for a cleaning or cuddling session. And if Sophie wasn't there, Bramble would go look for her, says Sharon. The kissing-licking thing was a 2-way street. Bramble would beak Sophie in return for Sophie's kisses. I love that. In the evening, sometimes Bird and Dog would spoon on the carpet and fall asleep. Bramble wouldn't go back into her crate until we all went to bed. Once Bramble was older and less fragile, she was introduced into the aviary so she could fly around. But Sharon says the owl swoops down regularly to spend time with Sophie, always in the mood for a mutual grooming, bird-dog style. Another awesome picture. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. This is a pretty serious look, but not so much from the spaniel, who's very relaxed. And the last story, which also includes an owl and is also from England, but this time in 2008, is called The Owlet and the Greyhound. Fuzzy owl. Fuzzy owlet. Adorable greyhound. Oh my gosh. I just love them. What strange scenario is this? It begins normally enough with a dog lounging on a sofa, but look again. There's an owl perched between his paws. Oh, and they're both watching TV. That's Torque the Greyhound with his little buddy Shrek, a baby female long-eared owl that the pup took under his paw soon after the bird hatched at the Ringwood Raptor Centre in Hampshire's New Forest in the United Kingdom. When the owl first hatched, Torque became excited and wanted to sniff the new arrival. I had taken Shrek the owlet out of the incubator, and then comes this big nose into my hand, recalls John Picton, head falconer and Torque's owner. That was followed by a big old tongue to say hello. It was quite funny. In some bird species, a parent bird may kill one of its young to give the other a better chance at survival. To protect Shrek from inf- infanticide, the owlet wasn't placed back with its mother after hatching. Instead, John took the tiny knot of feathers home to care for her there. Oh my gosh, the tiny knot of feathers. As the chick became steadier on her feet, John let Torque and the little bird get better acquainted. First, he'd feed Shrek her meals of marsh rats and quail in the same room where Torque was eating. Then he'd hold the bird out so Torque could get a look and a sniff. Torque would lick the bird, and the bird would give the dog a gentle peck on the nose. Eventually, they were bounding through the house together, really enjoying each other. In a comical game, Shrek stood still until Torque wandered by and then pounced on him. The two cuddled on the couch, seeming entranced by EastEnders and Coronation Street, among other favorite shows. They'd hang around outside like loving siblings, with Torque standing guard over the feathered youngster or following her as she toddled across the grass. Oh my gosh, an owl toddle is the best. Have you ever seen an owl toddle? As Shrek's legs got stronger from roaming with Torque, she soon realized she had another set of limbs to stretch, and once she found her wings, Shrek began to explore a world where Torque couldn't follow. The owl was placed in an aviary at the Raptor Center with other birds, and Torque continued his life on the ground, a little lonelier than before. But whenever Torque trotted past the bird's house, there would be a very nice hoot from inside. Shrek to Torque, said John. It seemed dog and bird remained friends, even from afar. And this last picture, I love it. I love how Torque's ears are back. Torque just looks so gorgeous. And little Shrek, little feathery Shrek. Oh my word. Oh my word. Cuteness overload. So that's our three stories for today. So I hope you enjoyed them. I enjoyed them. And I'd love to know which story was your favorite in the comments. And I appreciate you joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again when I read some more animal stories to make you smile.